Hey everyone, buckle up. Today's deep dive is all about those colorful, expressive phrases. You know, the ones that make English so dynamic.
Yeah.
We're talking vivid verbs, unexpected connections between words, the kind of stuff that makes you appreciate the artistry of language.
What's fascinating about these phrases is how they often use imagery and metaphor to paint a picture in your mind. They're not just about conveying information, they're about creating an experience.
Okay, let's unpack that. Right off the bat, we've got a word that seems simple, but has surprising range. Point. We use it to point out something important, to declare something pointless, or even to say, hey, that's beside the point.
And what's striking is how these phrases go beyond the literal act of pointing. Besides, the point isn't about physical direction, it's about relevance, about staying focused on what matters.
It's like you're redirecting the conversation, steering it back on course. And then there's the difference between being to the point versus making a point of doing something.
Precisely. To the point suggests conciseness, getting to the heart of the matter without unnecessary fluff. But making a point of implies intentionality, a deliberate action.
It's like, I'm not just doing this casually, I'm making a conscious effort. Now, speaking of things we do consciously, have you ever noticed how many expressions we have for things happening quickly?
It's true. We're obsessed with capturing those fleeting moments, those flashes of time that pass us by in the blink of an eye.
Oh, that reminds me of this one time wait, hold on. Did you hear that? Was that a bird? It felt like it just zipped by in a split second. See what I did there? But seriously, that's another one of those expressions that gets at that idea of immediacy.
Absolutely. And we've got a whole arsenal of them in a flash, in no time. It's like we're constantly trying to grasp onto those fleeting moments. And sometimes trying to cram too much into those moments leads us to another vivid expression, burning the candle at both ends.
Ooh, good one. I feel like everyone's familiar with that saying, but if you actually picture it, a candle burning at both ends, you really get a sense of why it's not sustainable.
Exactly. That image perfectly captures the consequence of pushing yourself too hard, of trying to do too much at once. Just like the candle, you end up burning out faster. It's a powerful reminder in today's fast-paced world, don't you think?
Absolutely. It makes you think about work-life balance, about setting boundaries. But, sometimes you just got to give it a shot and see what happens, right?
And there's another interesting word, shot. It's evolved from its original meaning, referring to a unit of alcohol to encompass a chance or opportunity.
It's true. We talk about giving something our best shot. We're taking a long shot. All these expressions hinting at taking a chance, just like downing a shot of.
Yeah.
Well, you get the idea.
And that's the beauty of language, isn't it? How words and phrases evolve and take on new meanings over time.
Okay, but before we get too philosophical on this, I want to circle back to that idea of giving something a shot. Because it reminds me of another expression, calling the shots. Now, they might seem totally different, but I bet they're connected somehow, right?
You're onto something there. Calling the shots is about being in control, making the decisions. And when you think about it, that often involves taking risks, taking those metaphorical shots that determine the course of action.
Whoa, I never thought of it that way. It's like those two meanings of shot are two sides of the same coin, one about chance, the other about control. But hey, isn't it interesting how we use these everyday words to express such complex ideas?
Absolutely. And it's not just about abstract concepts. Sometimes the most vivid language comes from the most mundane activities, like milking a cow.
Okay, now you're talking my language, or should I say our language. Milking a cow is such a specific, visceral verb. You can practically feel the warmth of the cow, hear the milk hitting the bucket.
Exactly. It's that sensory detail that brings the language to life. And just like we milk a cow for its resources, we also talk about milking a situation for all it's worth.
Oh, there you go. We're back to those metaphors. It's like we can't resist finding connections between the concrete and the abstract. And speaking of concrete actions, how about plowing? I mean, we're not all out there tilling fields, but we still use that word all the time.
It's true. We plow through our work, plow ahead on projects. That image of cutting through resistance, making progress, it resonates far beyond the realm of agriculture.
It's like we're drawing on these universal experiences to make our language richer, more evocative. It's fascinating how even a word as simple as bug can take on so many different meanings.
Oh, absolutely. From those pesky insects that bug us literally to the metaphorical bugs in a computer program, the word has definitely evolved. And of course, to bug someone has become synonymous with pestering or bothering them, often persistently.
Now that you mention it, I remember learning about how bugging someone used to refer to literally planting listening devices.
Hmm.
It's amazing how a word can go from describing a physical act to something more abstract and metaphorical.
It speaks to the dynamic nature of language. And sometimes those evolutions involve borrowing from other languages, enriching English in the process. Take the word shot, for example, which we were just discussing.
Right, we're just talking about shot. And it reminds me of the Spanish word chupito, which also means a shot of alcohol. Like a little linguistic crossover episode.
I love a linguistic crossover episode, and it highlights how languages borrow and influence each other, reflecting shared cultural experiences.
It's true. Like the concept of being the third wheel.
Yeah.
That awkward feeling of being the odd one out translates across cultures, too. It's funny how those social dynamics are universal, even if the expressions vary.
Right.
It's not just about picking up these expressions, it's about making them your own, right?
Absolutely. As we've been exploring these vivid verbs and colorful phrases, it makes you wonder, how can you, as a listener, use this to make your own mark on the English language?
That's a great question. It's a bit intimidating to think about, right? Like we're just scratching the surface of these expressions that have evolved over centuries.
That's true, but language is a living thing. It's constantly evolving and adapting, and every time we use it, every email, every conversation, we're contributing to that evolution.
So it's not about trying to invent a new word or anything, more about using these existing expressions in our own unique ways.
Exactly. It's about finding your own voice within the language, using these tools to express yourself authentically. Maybe you'll stumble upon a new turn of phrase or connect to seemingly unrelated words in a way that sparks a new meaning.
Okay, I like that. It's about being playful with language experimenting and not being afraid to make mistakes. After all, that's how we learn and grow, right?
Precisely. And who knows, maybe someday we'll be unpacking a colorful expression that you helped popularize.
Now, wouldn't that be something? So, there you have it, folks. From calling the shots to burning the candle at both ends, we've explored how everyday English is packed with vivid imagery, unexpected connections, and even a few international influences.
Remember, language is more than just a tool for communication. It's a reflection of our shared human experience. So keep those ears open, those minds engaged, and don't be afraid to embrace the joy of discovering new ways to express yourself.
Beautifully said. Until next time, happy language learning, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on English Learning Podcast. I want to congratulate you for taking the time to improve your English. Every step counts, so keep moving forward and don't stop. If you enjoyed this content and want to learn more, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so we can keep creating videos like this. Let us know in the comments what level of English you're at and what topics you'd like us to cover in the next episode. Also, check out the links in the description for additional resources to help you keep advancing. See you in the next video. And remember, English Learning Podcast is here to help you reach your English goals. Keep learning.